This is Humans in the Loop. I'm Ezra Strix. You ever have one of those moments at work where things feel good? Like you've got a manager who gets it, someone who tells you not to worry about the paperwork, someone who says, we can just work around it, we don't need to make it a big deal. And for a while, it works. The meetings shift to a better time. The Slack pings stay manageable, you think. Maybe this is what support is supposed to feel like. But there's this little voice way in the back of your head that wonders what happens if things change. If your manager leaves or gets moved or someone new comes in and asks to see the official accommodations. Today on the show, what happens when the support you counted on was never actually in writing? What it feels like to do everything right, but quietly, without making noise, and still find out that we've got your back doesn't always survive a reorg. We tell this story in 5 acts because the lessons, they unfold slowly, and the moment you need protection is always the moment after you realize you don't have it. Act 1, verbal agreement. A promise is made, not written down. Act 2, it worked until it didn't. Support feels effortless until the system resets. Act 3, the rules were always unwritten. What happens when what works for you isn't visible to those who decide what matters? Act 4, the aftermath. The slow drift from valued to forgotten with no one saying what changed. And Act 5, what I wish I'd known. What it really takes to protect yourself when vibes won't cut it. We're about to jump in. But first, a quick word from our completely imaginary sponsor for anyone who's ever found themselves feeling something but couldn't quite put their finger on what.
MoodLex is the digital self-awareness tool for people who feel something but can't figure out what it is or where it came from. Here's how it works. Open the app. Tap whatever feels closest to true, like buzzy but sad, emotionally buffering, or resentment soup with a side of incoherent screaming. MoodLex shows you what's under that feeling and suggests your next steps. Nap? Snack? Scream into the wind? Or maybe nothing. Maybe MoodLex just names it, so you stop fighting it. Plus, lag mode lets you tag feelings that arrived 3 days late. Because yeah, the vibe you caught from that meeting, still echoing. But now, you can name the echo. MoodLex, because feelings don't always come with captions. And some of us need subtitles, a map, and a snack before we can even begin.
If you're just joining us, that was our imaginary sponsor, MoodLex. The only product guaranteed never to track your data because it doesn't exist. If you'd like your actual product featured in this spot, drop us a line. We promise your ad will be at least as heartfelt as this one. And if you're listening and you do have a real tool or service for neurodivergent folks, or you just want to support stories like Cassandra's, we'd love to hear from you. For now, let's get back to the not-so-fictional realities of today's story. Act 1. Verbal agreement. Cassandra joins us to talk about a kind of support that starts with a smile and ends with a promotion you didn't get.
Okay, so ADHD and chronic fatigue, which is honestly a hilarious combo because my brain's like, let's alphabetize the spice rack at 2 a.m. and write a novel about bees. And my body's like, we stood up too fast, time to nap for 4 hours and disassociate. Anyway, point is, I function differently. And I've done the paperwork, the forms, the explaining. You know what it's like trying to summarize your brain on an HR portal dropdown? No box for might cry if you make me unmute without warning. So when I joined this new team, I told myself if my manager seems decent, maybe I won't bother with the official stuff. Just ease into it. Feel it out.
Optimism. Bold strategy.
Right? But he did seem decent, like super chill startup dad energy. He said I didn't need to bother with HR forms, so we could just work around it. You don't need a doctor's note to be human. Let's skip the bureaucracy and do what actually helps. It sounded enlightened. Also, like maybe he'd read one Brene Brown quote on Instagram.
Terrifying.
I know, but I fell for it. He noticed I flinched when people said, let's jump on a quick call. Next thing I know, he's dropping everything in Slack. He'd recap next steps in writing without being asked. He even shifted a recurring meeting out of my cognitive dead zone, aka mornings, and I thought, this is it! This is the dream! A manager who just gets it. No forms, no flagging myself as other, just working how I need to work. It felt too good to be official.
You know, there's this thing a lot of us do, especially when work feels uncertain, where we start inventing these wildly specific systems. Color coding, making lists of lists, collecting planners, sticky notes, spreadsheets. Like, if we can just get the system right, maybe everything else will click. Which brings us somehow to our next totally made-up sponsor. If you've ever built an entire workflow just to hold yourself together, you might want to hear about Gridjoy and Kindly Unravel.
This week, you had a plan. By Wednesday, the plan had you. Introducing the Gridjoy Kindly Unravel crossover, a trauma-informed calendar drop for people who don't need time management, they need time forgiveness. The Soft Plans Sharp Edges collection includes a permission to pause spread, an unscheduled breakdown tracker, and dual-branded grid paper that fades gently, as the week does. Also inside, an emotional check-in guide that asks, would rest move this forward more than guilt? Gridjoy and Kindly Unravel. Plan gently, break down strategically. Start again when you're ready.
If only finding the right calendar really did fix it all. Back to Cassandra and the rhythm she built, at least for a little while. Act 2, it worked. Until it didn't.
So I built my own rhythm. Started late, sometimes 11, sometimes 1. Hit deep focus by 2, powered through like a raccoon with a whiteboard. Some days I crashed at 4 p.m. Other days I was sending genius at 3 a.m. while horizontal with one eye open. Midday naps? Sanctioned. Well, self-sanctioned.
The most empowering kind.
Right? I even had a whiteboard of productive while horizontal tasks. Color-coded, slightly deranged, incredibly effective. Slide cleanups, process audits, long-form feedback synthesis, anything I could do while flopped dramatically on my couch like a Victorian ghost. My manager helped keep me safe from distraction. No calls unless scheduled, everything in writing, but overall, I was in the driver's seat for my workflow.
That sounds really specific and really supportive.
It was, and it worked, like really worked. I shipped better specs, caught a client-facing bug before it went live, got a thank you note from legal, for a change I made to a compliance workflow, and my manager, he said, "You're killing it, Cass. Keep doing what you're doing. This is what flexible work should look like."
Did you ever think about making it official?
Actually, yeah. In hindsight, every time we talked about how well things were working, any one of those, I should have said, "Cool, can we put that in a formal accommodations doc?" But instead, I just grinned, logged off, and took a victory nap. Because the system was working. Or so I thought. There was this moment I asked in Slack if he'd be open to formalizing things. I'd heard rumblings of an impending reorg. I felt uneasy about the potential for new leadership, a manager who might not get me. And he replied, "No need for the red tape, we already trust each other." So I deleted the draft, and I told myself I'd found the workaround for the workaround.
Ah, the informal agreement. Beloved by chill managers, forgotten by everyone else.
It started with one of those all-hands slides, streamlining for agility, flattening the org for faster decisions, which is corporate for we're rearranging the furniture. If you were sitting in a chair, you now might be part of the table. My manager, former manager, became my peer. No warning, no handoff, no HR conversation. He just sent me an upside-down smiley face emoji in Slack. That was the entire transition plan.
Supportive, from a distance.
Exactly. He still believed in me, still said nice things, but he didn't have authority anymore, and I didn't have a shield. Then came the stretch project. It was actually exciting. A new product initiative, cross-functional, high visibility, exec's eyes all over it. The kind of thing they said would put you on the radar. A big, meaty mess of a project. Unclear inputs, fuzzy deadlines, competing stakeholders, my sweet spot. ADHD brain loves chaos as long as it has purpose. And this felt like purpose. So I dove in, wrote the kickoff doc, built out async workflows, wrangled a product manager who responded only in vibes and GIFs, made it make sense. And for a second, I thought I might actually level up.
Spoiler, she does not. Act 3. The rules were always unwritten.
So the stretch project's rolling. I'm in it. I'm on. Async updates every Monday, rolling agenda, color-coded doc tracker. I even made a how to work with me page for the new PMs because I know I work differently, but it's effective, it's transparent, it's literally in writing. And I thought, finally, this is my moment. I'm already doing senior level work. This project's just the spotlight. Then I start hearing things. Quiet things. Around the corner, just a heads up things. They're wondering why you haven't been at the 8 a.m. syncs. There's a concern about real-time engagement. Leadership doesn't feel like they've seen your presence.
Presence, the metric that's always measured but never defined.
I mean, I was doing more work than half the people in those meetings. I was running the workflows, anticipating blockers, updating documentation so religiously I was basically the wiki pope. But apparently if you're not interrupting someone on Zoom at 8 a.m., you don't count.
Not visible, not valuable.
Yeah, they opened nominations for the next promotion cycle. Same day announcement. Stretch project was the proving ground. I didn't get it. Didn't even make the shortlist. And the feedback? Strong contributor, but we had concerns about cross-functional leadership. Needs to demonstrate more real-time collaboration.
Translation. We don't know how to evaluate someone we've never interrupted mid-sentence.
I built a system that worked. I delivered, I documented everything, and they treated that like I was hiding. They rewarded performative chaos and penalized actual clarity. It's like, the less friction you cause, the less real they think you are.
You were easy to work with, and they mistook that for not working hard. Sometimes you do everything right. Work quietly, keep things moving, and somehow that just means nobody notices you're drowning, which probably explains why our next fake sponsor is so oddly specific.
Feeling tense? It's time for Stretch and Screech, the wellness app that gives you permission to really let it out. Our app sends perfectly timed reminders. Stand up, stretch your neck side to side, reach for the sky, and scream like nobody's listening. Relieve tension, boost energy, and bond with coworkers. Or just confuse your pets. No meditation, no silent reflection, just primal, unapologetic release. Warning, side effects may include startled colleagues, curious neighbors, and sudden feelings of relief. Download Stretch and Screech today. Wellness isn't a gentle exhale, it's a full-bodied, gloriously loud scream.
For Cassandra, though, there was no sanctioned primal scream, just the subtle, slow fade of being left out. Here's what happened next. Act 4, the aftermath.
After the promo cycle passed me by, everything got weird. People stopped looping me in. My project lead started saying things like, I wasn't sure you had capacity, and we needed someone who could respond in real time. Like, I was literally the only one responding in full sentences. Just because I didn't show up to a 7:30 a.m. calendar ambush doesn't mean I vanished into the void. But I could feel it. The quiet downgrading, the soft exile.
No demotion, no drama, just your name slowly sliding off the radar.
Exactly. And when I finally flagged it to my former manager, now peer, he was all, that sucks, Cass. You were doing everything right. And I wanted to scream. Because no, I wasn't doing everything right. I didn't file the form. I didn't protect myself. I built a system I couldn't prove. And the second people changed, the support disappeared. They never said, you're not promotable. They didn't have to. They just moved on. And now, I show up, I deliver, I keep the tone light, but I am not naive anymore. I keep receipts. I route everything through HR. I ask for written approvals, and I tell every new hire I meet, don't be like me. don't confuse kindness for protection.
The system didn't fail her. It was never built for her in the first place. Act 5. What I wish I'd known.
I used to think the best thing you could be was low maintenance, like Olympic level flexible, chill to a fault, because no one resents the easy ones, right? No one questions the person who never says, I need.
Until the moment you do, and they look at you like you've changed the rules.
Exactly. I thought being easy to work with would protect me. I thought just getting it done would speak for itself. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter that I delivered. It didn't matter that I solved the thing no one else even saw. They looked at my absence from the morning syncs and saw a gap. They looked at my Slack updates and didn't hear a voice.
Quiet excellence doesn't make noise, so it doesn't leave an impression.
And support that isn't documented doesn't survive leadership changes, doesn't translate in calibration meetings, doesn't hold up when someone asks, why should we promote her?
Supportive, in theory.
And here's the thing. I should have known better. I do now. If I could rewind, I'd file the paperwork. I'd formalize the accommodations. I'd protect myself in the way the system says it's built to. Because intent doesn't shield you, vibes don't scale, and there's no org chart box for believed in by a chill guy once.
You built a system that worked. They promoted those who played the one they understood.
Yeah. So now I document everything. I ask for decisions in writing. I tell every new hire I meet, if someone says they'll support you, say thank you. Then ask for the link to the formal process. Because I didn't lose a promotion. I lost benefit of the doubt.
And that's harder to win back than any title. Here's the truth. Not all harm is loud. Sometimes it arrives as kindness, soft-spoken, flexible, wrapped in empathy and good intentions. But if that kindness disappears the moment systems change, it was never protection. It was convenience.
I don't think my old manager was trying to hurt me. I really don't. But his belief in me didn't survive the org chart. And now I've got the receipts to prove it. So if someone offers to just work around it, smile, nod, then file the form. Because when it's time to fight for your worth, you don't want to be holding vibes. You want documentation. You want policy. You want protection.
Support that only exists in memory won't follow you into performance reviews, won't advocate for you in promotion rooms, won't be there when someone says, "Do we have documentation for this?" Cassandra didn't fail to advocate for herself. She was told she didn't need to. And that is how well-intentioned workplaces become unsafe without ever raising their voice.
I don't get that promotion back, but I do have this story. And if it helps even one person keep their seat at the table, then maybe that still counts for something.
So maybe you've had a manager like Cassandra's, someone who meant well, who made it all feel easy until the day it wasn't. And maybe you thought, I don't need to make this official, we're on the same page. But here's the thing. What's real in a workplace isn't what people remember. It's what's written down, what endures after the meeting ends, after your champion moves on. So if this story made you think twice about that handshake deal, maybe send yourself an email, or start the paperwork, or if you're a manager, make it clear, in writing, not just in conversation. And if you know someone walking that same tightrope, send them this episode, not to scare them, but to remind them. The unspoken agreements, they only last as long as the people who remember. You can find more episodes, transcripts, and FAQs at loopedinhumans.com. Follow us on socials at loopedinhumans for updates, episode drops, and gentle reminders that your needs deserve more than a verbal agreement. This has been Humans in the Loop. I'm Ezra Strix. Thanks for listening.
This episode, Supportive in Theory, was written and produced by me, Christina Simmons, creator and executive producer of Humans in the Loop. This episode features Carolyn Dixon as Cassandra. Script review by Vivian Peach. Operations producer, Rana Cassidy, whose calendar prowess, reminder game, and spreadsheet skills are the stuff of legend and occasional awe. And special thanks, as always, to Ezra Strix, our endlessly replicable yet somehow still inimitable host, tireless advocate for receipts and proof that quiet excellence leaves an impression, at least in podcast form. To support the show, head to Patreon. Paid members get early access, bonus content, and input into topics for future episodes. Visit patreon.com/humansintheloop to learn more. If you have a story of your own to share, get in touch by using the contact form on our website, loopedinhumans.com. Don't go anywhere. A sneak peek at our next episode is coming up.
Next week on Humans in the Loop. Same reorg, different fallout. Cassandra's unofficial supports vanished overnight, but she wasn't the only one caught in the reshuffle. Liam was the fixer, the one who said yes before anyone asked, until the same reorg that erased Cassandra's scaffolding rebranded Liam's strengths as liabilities. Our next episode isn't a story about giving up. It's about burning out, adapting, and learning how to stay yourself when the system changes around you. The pivot reflex. Coming next week on Humans in the Loop.